Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to create a recommender system using Abacus AI. Abacus AI is a cloud AI platform that handles all aspects of machine and deep learning at enterprise scale. This platform offers different solutions and we'll be using one of them to create personalized recommendations to people who watch animes. So this recommender system will be similar to those you see on Netflix or YouTube. Alright. Let's get started. To create our recommender system, we go to Abacus AI and we create a free account. By the way, if you want to play around with Abacus AI, I'll leave a link in the description for you to create a free account. So you only have to go here and then you can write your name and email and password to create an account. Or you can also sign up with Google or GitHub and well, also Microsoft. In this case, I'm going to choose sign up with Google and I'm going to log in with my Google account. So I'm just logging in with my Google account and it's going to take a couple of seconds. Once you log in, you'll see this screen where you can create an organization, but I'm going to skip this for now. And then you're going to see this other screen where you can create a new project. So I'm gonna just click on here and then we're gonna have this option. So it says welcome to abacus.ai and here we can create our first project. So we only click on here, create project, and then we have different options. So all these options gives us like different templates for different projects and we can choose here the recommender system that we want. So we only have to go here to personalization AI and it has 3 sections. And the one we want for our recommender system is personalized recommendations. I click on it and then here I click on continue. So now we can give a name to this recommender system. This system is going to be about animes. So I'm going to write animes, as you see here, and I just click on finish and we're gonna get this template and it's asking now to create datasets. So I didn't show you the datasets so far. So here are the 2 datasets that we're gonna use. The first one is the anime_attributes. So we're gonna recommend animes to people based on these 2 datasets. So the first CSV file has information about the animes. So for example, the ID, the name of the anime, the type of anime that one is, and episodes, rating, and numbers. So all this information is about the anime or the animes. And the second one is the ratings. So this is how the users qualified this anime. So each anime has different qualifications but by different users. And here we can see -1, for example, and this indicates that the user watched this anime, but it didn't rate. It didn't give any qualification, so it doesn't have any rating. So that's what -1 indicates. But we could find different types of ratings. For example, here is 10, and this is just a normal rating. And well, these are my 2 CSV files that I'm gonna work with, and here it's asking to upload these CSV files. So I'm going to leave these 2 CSV files in the description so you can upload them here too. But let's check out what they're asking specifically. So the first dataset that they want is the user/item interactions. This is required, so we cannot skip this one. And this is all the user interactions on your website or application. For example, the clicks, purchase, and view. So for our situation, this is going to be like the clicks and the views the user had in the past. So for example, the user could have watched anime A and anime B, C, and so on. So we have all this historical data. And well, this is the user item interaction. Then we have the catalog attribute, and this is basically all the metadata or well, all the data that we have about our catalog. So in this case, our anime catalog. So all the data is here in anime_attribute. So here we can see all the data about each anime. So the genre, the type, the episode, and so on. So that's the 2 data sets we're going to work with. There are also user attribute, but we don't have this data set, but you can also upload it if you have this data. So in this case, I'm going to just click here on create dataset, and now we're going to click on create new. So first we started with this one, and here's asking me a name for this dataset, and here it is. So I just show you now what I wrote. So anime ratings, this is the name of my first dataset, and also table 1. So I just click on continue, and now it's asking me to upload this dataset. So now what I have to do is only click here on click or drag and select my file. So I go to my desktop, and here I have the datasets. So the first one is the anime_ratings. I choose this one because here we have the user item interaction on the website or the application. So I click on open, and just to show you one more time, here we have the historical data these users had with the application, well, in this case with the ratings. And well, here we only have to press on add dataset because I already chose the file. So I just click on add dataset, and then we have to wait a couple of seconds until this is uploaded and processed. Alright, the first dataset was uploaded and processed successfully. So now we have to upload the second dataset. And actually this second, and if you have this also third datasets, are only to enhance the performance of our model. So it's not required. The only one that is required is this one, but of course you have to add more data if you want to enhance the performance of this model. So here I'm gonna create another dataset for the catalog attributes, and I just click in create dataset and then on create new, which is right here. So create new, and it's asking a name. So now this is the data. I just write, you can name it as you want, and I click on continue, and now we have this. So again, I'm just uploading the file. In this case is anime_attributes, and that's it. I just click on add dataset, and it's gonna upload and process this file. And that's it. If you want, you can add a third dataset here in user attributes if you have data about your user base. But in my case, I don't have this data, so I'm gonna leave it there, and I'm gonna just work with these two datasets. And with this, we have step 1 completed. Now we go here to projects. I click on projects, and now this is the project we just created. So I'm going to select this one, and here we have this dashboard. We've seen that we successfully completed step 1. And now in step 2, we have to map the datasets columns to the column types the program uses by default. So we just click here on fix mapping errors, and here we have to help this program to identify which are the item ID and also the user ID. So we only have to select a column that belongs to these two datasets. So here I think we start with one of them. We can select the column. So first it's asking item ID. This is the unique identifier of each item in your catalog. So it's asking which is the equivalent of this. So we only have to select, and in our case, the item is the anime. So this is one of our items, or actually it's the only item we have in this dataset. So the item ID, this is asking, is my anime ID, but this is just in my specific case. In other cases, maybe this is the product ID, the article ID, or the video ID. That depends on your case. In my case, it's the anime ID. So this is my item. So now I click on next, and now it's asking for the user ID. So this is the unique identifier of each user in the base. So this is simple because I also have the user ID, and this one doesn't require much explanation. It's the same user ID. And now it's asking for an item ID again. I think this is for the other dataset, I believe. But anyway, we've already defined this one, and we choose item ID is the equivalent of anime ID in this case. So set and save schema, and I think that's it. We have everything done. So now we have this dashboard, and we have this table. And here we have some information about the data we uploaded. So we have the columns here in name, we have the data type, the feature type, so categorical or numerical, and other information. So we can play here, we can choose table 1 or table 2. This is the name of the table that I gave before. So here is table 1. And as you can see here in the feature mapping is what we just done a couple of seconds ago. We have user ID, we have item ID, and we have also, well, item ID here. So this is what we've done before. And you can also choose different feature mapping. Here, actually, you can click here and have more information. And you can also check the documentation for more information about more advanced feature mapping. So here, as you can see, in the feature type, this program automatically selects which type this column is. So it automatically recognizes that this, for example, user ID is a categorical data or categorical type. But in case you think this is not correct, you can also modify it. So you can just click here on the drop down and select any other type. But of course, you need to know the meaning of each type variable. Okay, we are now on the features section inside the features group, but we can check other sections just to know more about our data. So for example, here is the exploration or the explore section. And now we have to click here and just check this part. And I think we have to wait a couple of seconds. Here it says status pending. And once this is done, I'm going to show you what's inside the explore section. All right, now the status is completed, so we can visit the explore section. And here we can see some basic statistics about our data. So for example, we're in table number 2, and here we can see some statistics like the minimum, the maximum, the sum, the standard deviation, and here we can see some visualizations about our data. Well, that depends if it's categorical or if it's numerical. So you can check the information, you can have more detail just with one click, and that's something very cool that this program offers. So I'm not gonna delve into detail here, and what we're gonna do right now is to go to the project section. I'm gonna click here again on Animes. This is the project that we created, and as you can see, step 1 and step 2 was successfully completed. So now you have to train the model. This is step 3. So we only have to click here on this train models button that you see here. And now we see this table and it's asking for a name for this model and also for more information here. But I'm just gonna leave it with the default values, and I'm gonna click here on train model. So train model, I'm gonna create this model with the default name, and that's it. So now we see this message that tells me that this training will take a few hours to complete. So you will need to wait some hours before everything is done. And this is if you want, also you can get an email to let you know when the training is completed. So I'm not gonna wait the hour. It takes approximately 1 hour. I'm not gonna wait that. I already have a model trained already. I did this some hours before making this video, so I'm gonna show you the results. Okay, I'm now here in my second account and I have the same anime project, but in this case the model was already trained. So I only have to visit this deployment, and in your case, if you click here on deployment, you're gonna see a blank space if it's the first time you train the model. So if you want to see the prediction dashboard that I'm gonna show you later, which is this one, you have to restart a deployment. Here is asking me, click here to restart a deployment. But in your case, you have to choose just restart deployment or something like that. So I'm gonna click here, and well, it's gonna restart the deployment, but sometimes you have to go to models and you have to deploy it yourself. So just click on models, go to your project, and here it's gonna have an option that says something like deploy or something like that. So we do all of this just to show the predictions. So we created a model and now we want to see the predictions. So the predictions are displayed here. But before I show you this, let's see some metrics that we obtained with this model. So we go to models, and before I show you the predictions, which is actually the final result of our model making the predictions, I'm going to show you fast these metrics. So every time you create a model, you have some metrics to measure how good or bad is your model. And here we have different metrics to evaluate our model, and you can check them out. To understand this, you don't have to be an expert in this field, but you can check these question marks to see what each metric means. So I'm going to briefly explain you the meaning of some metrics, and let's start with this NDCG. And the basic concept behind this metric is that some items are more relevant than others. So the idea is that highly relevant items should come before less relevant items, and these less relevant items should also come before irrelevant items. So we rank most relevant items high on the list. So that's the basic idea behind this metric. Then we have this map metric, and this is a different metric. This metric rewards ranking the relevant recommendations higher and penalizes if they are ranked lower. Then we have this MRR, which stands for mean reciprocal rank, and this one focuses on the top recommendations. So it rewards when the most relevant item is at the top. Then we have the personalization metric, and this is all about how personalized the recommendations are for each user. And finally, we have the item coverage. So the item coverage is how many animes out of the thousands of animes in the catalog are being recommended. So basically, this is how many items in our catalog are being recommended. So in our case, an item is an anime, so just how many animes from the catalog are being recommended. So we see the coverage. And those are some of the most important metrics. So now let's go to deployments here again. And here you can check the prediction dash and verify all the predictions made by this model. Here in the prediction dash, we have the predictions made for specific users. Here we have the user ID, so we can play with the ID. For example, we want to know the prediction for ID 1038. So we click on 1038, and here on the left, we have the historical data. So basically, this is all the animes that this person with ID 1038 watched in the past. So you can see here all the data, all the animes watched by this user, and on the right you have the predictions. So the prediction is based on the dataset we uploaded and also on the model that we trained. So we have this prediction, and well, we have all these animes that probably this user is gonna like, that is gonna watch. We can play a bit more, and for example 1042, we see, just as an example, if you know about animes, just let's check out some animes. So we see that this user watched a lot of Dragon Ball Z content, so we see many animes related to this, and here probably we're gonna find some animes that are related to this one. So we see, I don't know, I'm not an expert on animes, but we can see this anime Another, and we can see this anime called Shingeki no Kyojin, and so on. So probably this user who likes Dragon Ball is gonna like these other animes too. And this is what we got thanks to our recommender system. So you can check out this yourself. I'm gonna leave all the necessary links and datasets in the description so you can create your own recommender system and play with these datasets and this model. So that's it for this video, and if you have any question, feel free to ask me in the comment section.